Yo, what's going on, guys? It's been quite a while since I've just kind of had a sit down and chat on the YouTube channel, other than like the live streams and stuff. But I had a topic today that I really needed to talk about, so that's what we're gonna do today. You saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. You probably know general idea of what this conversation will be about. But for those of you who have watched my content other than like my more recent videos, which don't really have me as a personality in it, then you'll know that I have kind of a brand, I guess, or who I've presented myself out to the world was of a gay femboy. Very feminine presenting, but still a man. Still went by he, him. But both of those titles have changed recently, and I would like to get everybody caught up and go through kind of my journey through self-discovery. Around probably 8 months ago or something, I began questioning who I was, and I've been doing a lot of introspection since then. But it was tough to come up with like an answer to everything, and it wasn't until I really voiced it to like really close friends of mine that I really figured it out. But let's start off with my sexuality, because for pretty much all of my adult life I've identified myself as gay. However, I've recently come to the conclusion that that's not entirely accurate as to who I am. And I also figured that bi or pan also didn't really properly apply to me. I guess not necessarily term, but the thing that I identify most with is demisexual, which for those who don't know is the best way I can describe it is kind of not quite asexual, but also not quite allosexual, which is just the word for people who are not asexual. It's kind of the in-between, where if you are asexual, you don't really experience sexual attraction at all, but if you're allosexual, you can experience it. You can experience it for whatever your sexuality is, I guess. But demisexual is basically when you don't experience sexual attraction unless you already have a very strong like emotional connection or bond. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but it usually, for me at least, it's come when that happens. That's the best way I've figured to describe myself as far as my sexuality goes. But obviously those blanket terms are really only used to describe at a glance who you are to people. It's not necessarily a perfect depiction of who I am on the inside of my lived experience, but those labels are really only useful for other people, not necessarily yourself. But that's not really as important, I feel, to the main topic that this video is really going to be about, which is my gender. My gender expression and identity has always been a little loose, I feel. You know, I like skirts, I like thigh highs, I like more feminine clothes. But I never really stopped to consider what that actually means for me. I just felt like I enjoy cute things, but that doesn't mean I'm not a guy. However, I no longer think that's the case. I've come to the realization, or maybe not realization, but I've figured out that I don't really identify as a man anymore, or maybe not anymore is the right term either, but I've basically figured out that I would rather identify as a woman, and I'm going to be using she, they pronouns from now on. And you know, I really should have realized something like 2.5 years ago when there was this app going around that basically took pictures and made it look like a drawing. And when the only picture that I can remember that I've ever felt good about my appearance looks like this, I feel like I should have noticed something. The first conscious thought that I ever actually had, that I remember having, I guess, is what I should say, that made me start questioning stuff was when, and it's kind of embarrassing to say this because, I don't know, it seems cringe to me, was I had the thought of, if I was ever to be isekai'd, I would want to be reborn as a woman. And the thought I had was because it would be more interesting, because I don't want to live again as a man. And when I first had that thought, I'm like, wait, I feel like that's not, I feel like most cisgender people don't think that. And I had that thought, like I said, probably around the beginning of 2024, maybe a little bit before. So like 8 to 10 months ago. But I've thought about this stuff a lot in that time. But I really didn't ultimately come to the conclusion that yes, I think I'm trans until I actually voiced my thoughts out to one of my friends. And doing that was so cathartic in a way, because it finally allowed me to, I feel like, accept that side of myself. Before I was like thinking about stuff like that, but I wasn't really convinced. But it wasn't until I said it to somebody, they accepted it, and were willing to, I guess, help me explore what it would be like to be called by more feminine pronouns and stuff like that, that it really allowed me to embrace that side of me. And that was so helpful, because it feels, there's a lot of emotions that went into when I finally figured it out. There was relief, there was a lot of anxiety and fear, there was joy, because it's hard when you live your whole life not knowing why you're upset with yourself, I guess, or why you hate yourself. But figuring all this out has told me one of at least the reasons why I think I've been so upset with myself throughout all my life, and why I've never really fit in, or all these different things. But it was one of the strangest feelings when I finally basically told myself, yes, this is who I am, because I couldn't describe the amount of emotions that I was feeling, positive and negative. It was terrifying and happy and all these things. But to the people that I've told already, thank you for just accepting who I am. That meant more to me than you will ever know. Anyways, that's gonna be it from me. Thank you for listening to my rambling. I didn't really script anything. I just kind of had a couple things I wanted to mention in a sticky note. One of those Windows sticky note things. This was really tough for me to record, but I feel like I needed to say it out loud, actually speaking it rather than just typing it or thinking it. I needed to say it. And this was very cathartic. Thank you for watching. I'll probably stream later today on the day that this releases. I'll probably stream afternoon, evening-ish. So maybe I can see you guys there, but yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Later.